Have you ever done a podcast before?
No.
This is your first podcast?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not your last.
Hopefully not.
Do you think have you ever listened to a podcast?
Yeah.
You know, like when you do a presentation and you get up there and you're like, oh, what was I going to say?
Yeah.
That's what happens to me too sometimes. Thanks for joining me today, guys, on Constructive. I've got a special episode with my nephew, Ryder. We're going to do kind of an experiment. Are you down for that, Ryder? But we're also just going to get to know Ryder, see what he knows about construction, and do a little guessing games of what we could imagine about what a construction project would be like in the eyes of a 9-year-old. But your name is Ryder. Tell me a little bit about your family, how old you are.
Okay. I have a sister who's 5. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My dad used to do construction. My mom was a teacher, so pretty big family, great yard. We love building forts and stuff, so.
Do you have a favorite sibling?
No.
You're not allowed to say, right?
Yeah.
What kind of forts do you guys build?
Well, we have a tree house in the back. I don't know, a lot. Some of them
are they like
trees.
Defense towers?
Some of them, yes. Some of them.
Or you're like trapping animals and.
Yeah, we have yeah.
When you build stuff, do you ever like plan it out ahead of time? Do you ever like draw something like, ooh, I want to build this addition to the fort, and you think about it before you do it?
Sometimes, yeah.
Or do you just go start throwing things together and see?
One of my older brothers just throws it all together. Sometimes we plan ahead.
Yeah.
It goes
Have
back.
you ever asked your dad to help because he knows so much about construction?
Well, yeah.
Does he do a good job?
Yeah.
When he builds stuff, it's a little better than when you build it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, tell me, do you know what I do for a career? Like my day job? You can say no, it's okay.
I know you used to work in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
So I do stuff a lot like what your dad did. You know how he worked for a heavy civil contractor, right? So they just moved a lot of dirt, right?
Yeah.
I do similar, but I work on all kinds of construction projects. Right now I'm working on one in the city, but I also started this podcast to just talk about construction. Why do you think I started a podcast? I'm curious.
So people can learn how to build stuff.
That's exactly right. Would you ever start a podcast?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, let's see if we can learn a little bit about construction together. Do you know what an architect is?
Kind of. Not really.
Explain what you think they are.
Don't they like plan ahead of time, make the blueprints, stuff like that?
Yeah. So they draw stuff out. They're thinking about construction before we actually build the project, like you said. And I'm getting a phone call. I should cut that up. Make sure I silence my phone. Apologies. So yeah, an architect is planning out the project beforehand, and they're actually drawing stuff. In the past, it used to be on a piece of paper. You just start drawing lines for walls, right? Can you imagine that, though, if you're trying to say, I want to build a house? Have you ever seen a set of building plans?
Yeah.
Does it look like a house to you?
Not really.
No, it doesn't, right? So it'd be hard to understand how you turn that into a house, right? So architects have to think about, okay, we're going to build something. And they're imagining it in their head, right? And they're trying to draw it on a piece of paper so someone else can go build it. Interesting, right? Do you know what an engineer is?
Yeah, don't they invent stuff?
True.
Pipes.
Yeah. Engineer is a very generic term. So like there's computer engineers.
Yeah.
They're like coding stuff, right? But like the kind of engineer I'm thinking of is for buildings. And they're actually like engineering the structure. So if you think about like earthquakes, what happens to a building when an earthquake happens? Do you know?
It could fall apart.
Yeah, it shakes and it could fall apart. So an engineer's like, what do we need to do to make sure a building doesn't fall apart in the case of an earthquake? Or they just think about, we're building this 100-story skyscraper. How do we make sure it supports itself, right? And the people all stay alive. Okay, do you know what a contractor is?
Yeah, he's basically the boss of the building.
Yeah. Do you know why they call him a contractor?
No.
It's a weird word, right?
Yeah.
Because I would think you'd call it the builder.
Yeah.
Don't you think? The reason they call it a contractor is because a long time ago, people used to just call him a builder. But then they started screwing things up so much that the people making them build stuff said, now you have to sign this contract that says you will build these things and we will pay you this amount of money, and we won't pay you unless you build it right. So now they're a contractor because they have to sign a contract to say, yes, I will build it right and you will pay me money.
Okay.
It's funny that we don't even get to call them what they actually do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I wanted to do, I think this would be fun. Let's imagine a construction project we're going to do together. Let's say, what would you like to build in your backyard if you could build anything at all? Like a skate park, a climbing wall?
A climbing wall, probably.
Ooh, a climbing wall? I heard you were into climbing, huh? Okay, so let's pretend we're going to build a climbing wall in our backyard. And I'm actually going to give you a special tool, too. Do you know what ChatGPT is?
No.
It's an AI. So we're going to use ChatGPT and we're just going to say, how do I build a climbing wall in my backyard, right?
Okay.
Okay.
How do I build a climbing wall in my backyard?
Building a retaining wall can be a really rewarding project.
Oh, no, sorry. We want to build a climbing wall in our backyard.
Oh, got it. A climbing wall sounds like a lot of fun. You want to consider the structure's stability, the type of holds you'd like to use, and the surface material. If you have any specific ideas in mind already.
Do you want it to be a big climbing wall?
Sure.
How tall?
I don't know, 20 feet.
You want to be able to climb it easily, or you want it to be really steep?
Steep.
Yeah. Okay, so we want a really steep climbing wall. It's about 20 feet tall. We want holds that like a 10-year-old can still use, but we want it to be difficult and challenging. What do we need to do to get this started?
That sounds like an awesome project. To get started, you'll want to think about a few key things. First, you'll need a sturdy frame, typically using pressure-treated wood or metal. You'll also need to decide on the type of surface, like plywood, and the climbing holds. It's a good idea to anchor the wall to a solid foundation and maybe even consult with a professional for safety. And of course, make sure you have a good crash pad at the bottom. Let me know if you need any more detail.
What else do you think we need to consider, Ryder?
I don't really know.
Well, how would we get started? Do we need to like ask the city if we can build a climbing wall? So there's a thing called permitting, right? Do you know about this?
Yeah.
If you want to build anything in your yard, you got to go ask the city, and you got to get permission. So you probably need drawings. Let's see if we can get ChatGPT's help. We want to consider all the implications of our climbing wall in the backyard project, like price and permitting, and how are we going to design it, and how are we going to get a contractor who can build it, and tell us all the steps involved.
Absolutely. Let's break it down into steps. 1, design. Decide on the dimensions, the type of holds, and the overall aesthetic. You can sketch out your ideas or even use online design tools. 2, budget. Estimate the costs for materials, wood, holds, anchors, tools, and labor. It's also wise to factor in any additional costs like safety nets. 3, permitting. Check with your local city or county to see if you need a permit for a structure that tall. Often, backyard structures do need approval. Contractor. For contractors who specialize in custom builds or even those with experience in climbing walls. Getting a few quotes can help you compare. Materials and safety. Make sure you get high quality, durable materials. Safety is key, so ensure the structure is stable and the holds are securely attached. 6, installation. Once everything's planned, either do it yourself if you're handy or hire the contractor to build it. 7, inspection and maintenance. After it's built, you might want to have it inspected for safety and plan for regular maintenance to keep it in top shape. If you need help with any of these steps, just let me know.
Seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we were just going to build a climbing wall in our backyard. Now we got a lot of things to do, don't we? What do you think about price? Because I bet this is going to cost a lot. Do you have any money?
Yeah.
How much money do you have?
Only like $500.
So we've only got about $500, ChatGPT. Do you think we can get this thing built? And if not, are there any alternative means for us to get funding for the project?
With a budget of $500, it might be a bit challenging to cover the entire cost of a 20-foot tall steep climbing wall, especially if you're hiring a contractor. However, you can definitely start small and DIY some parts. You could also consider alternative funding options like a crowdfunding campaign, reaching out to local community groups, or even getting sponsorship from local businesses. Another idea is to do it in phases to spread out the cost. Let me know what works best for you.
That's pretty cool. He's actually suggesting something that would be fun. If you ever want to build a climbing wall, do you know what crowdfunding means?
No.
You just put it out on the internet and say, hey, we want to build a climbing wall in our backyard. Does anybody want to give us $5? And then sometimes a bunch of people are like, well, if I can come over and climb the wall, I'll give you $5. Think about that. Maybe you could get a bunch of donations to do a project. Don't tell your parents. What do you think? What do you think about construction management? Do you think it's hard or easy?
Pretty hard, but it's worth it.
Do you think it's cool?
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of building stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you want to do when you grow up? How did you get $500, by the way?
save up, put it in my savings.
Man, that's pretty good. How do you keep from spending all your money on stuff you like?
Well, we split it up, like spending money, saving money, giving money, stuff like that.
Nice. I'm glad you're able to save so much. Do you have something you want to buy?
I'm just saving it really for college, stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I have my
Smart
own
guy.
I have my bank account.
Well, you might not have to go to college if you want to be a construction manager.
Well, yeah.
You could go into the trades and learn how to weld stuff or something like that. But cool. Thanks for coming on, Ryder. Appreciate it.